Anyway, for my 40th anniversary, ruby and diamond cufflinks and 3 ruby and diamond shirt studs for the dinner suits. They're pretty flashy. Anyway, she had them revalued, and the valuation came back in at $140,000. And the 2 boys at the table said, "Who gets them in the will?" And Diane looked at him and said, "Nobody at this table." So we laugh a bit about it. We don't take it too seriously. The Starring Report has just been a wonderful, wonderful book for me. You go back to the Wallemans, the Voights, yes, the Wallemans and the Voights. You've already had them. The Wallemans and the Voights and all the families going back and back. Go back.
I'm just with a little mob now.
Take a photograph of you.
A year ago? A bit.
I love that outfit.
They don't value like our first
The cameraman's had to depart for a short time, so I'm trying to fill his boots.
Do you know, I left my camera at home, my phone.
I think Joyce did too, Mum's cousin. She forgot her camera, but never mind. I'm sure we'll get some pictures.
That's a nice picture on the invitation of it, Mum.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a lovely invitation.
Some ideas. A little bit of housekeeping. The ladies is down that end, the gents is down this end. There's a couple of toilets behind here. If you want anything, water, more food, drink, yell out. These kind guys will keep it flowing. It is wonderful to see so many of my mother's descendants here. As you can imagine, this is a very, very special day for all of us. And I regularly tell my grandkids who aren't here yet, they're playing cricket, that on our side of the family, on the Baldwin side, she's our longest living ancestor we have ever heard of. We don't know in all history of any of our direct ancestors making 90. So it's a special, wonderful event, and we're very, very proud of it. I won't speak too long because lots of people may want to have a word or two to say, but whenever we think of her, we think of her strength, we think of her determination, we think of her temper, we think of her...
Did you hear that, Reeva?
We think of her resilience, and we think of the way that she has faced the hardships of the last 80 years, or so probably 85 years, from tough times on the farm to her dad going to war in 1939, to all the things that occurred, the Depression, World War II, and then tough times after World War II. And it's really hard for us when we sit here and we have all the wonderful things in life that we have to accept that in 1946, 47, when I was born after the war, they lived on 2.5 acres out of the Blunder, and to buy butter you needed coupons. To buy chicken wire to build a chook house you needed a coupon. That everything was rationed. You just couldn't go and buy what you wanted. Life was really so hard, and she lived through all that. And then of course she started playing tennis seriously and lived through the good times. So the next 20 years or so, and some of the old tennis players, some of the favourite tennis players are here with her today. She had a wonderful life with tennis and sport and friends and parties and singing, and I like to think that she's passed that on to us, that enjoyment of celebration, enjoyment of family. One other thing that always sticks in my mind is, you know, when she was, until probably 15 or 20 years ago, if ever you turned up at her house, didn't know what time of the day, she'd say, have you eaten? It was a big thing, have you eaten? And if you hadn't eaten, there'd be a meal there very, very quickly. Usually scrambled eggs with lots of milk in it and lots of egg beater and things, but have you eaten was a big thing. Anyway, I've loved her dearly for 68, 69 years, and I am just so pleased that she's reached this milestone, and I'm so grateful for everybody coming along to help her enjoy it. And even though she hasn't smiled in real life, she's just loving it. We were blessed as little kids, my brothers and sister and I, in that wherever we lived in Queensland, and the old man was an itinerant school teacher, so it was 2 years here, 3 years there, that both families, my father's family and my mother's family, almost all of them lived in Victoria, would come to Queensland almost every year and stay with us. And there'd be sort of 10 or 12 people in a 3-bedroom house, but nobody seemed to care. We always seemed to get by, and some of my warmest memories are of the family from Victoria coming for 2 weeks in August, 2 weeks at Christmas, you know, and over they did. And I didn't really know Paul, and I sort of said, you know, who are you? And he's my mother's nephew, but he's my Uncle Wallace's son. And I remember Uncle Wallace turned up at Evergreen in about 1957, so that's a long time ago, you know, 60 years ago. He turned up there, drove up, and he was in his naval uniform. Well, as little kids, we thought this was so dramatic. This was his naval uniform. And Brian turned up in a 56 heavy holder, and he hit a flock of budgerigars. I don't know if
I don't remember that, I don't remember the car.
and there were a couple of budgerigars still live in the radiator. There were a couple of budgerigars still live in the front of the radiator, and we got them out and we tried to, you know, we tried to keep them and save them, but they died on us. But they were sort of our first pets. They lasted 24 years.
Ron,
It's all yours. Yeah, hang on.
No, I want to remind you of something you already got.
Yeah.
Granddad, please, Ted, your father, he was there every year for
Jim.
cracker night. Remember that?
I don't remember being there, but I remember Mum's father being there every year. Wherever we were, Ma Baz had come,
Yeah.
Carolyn's grandmother, for 2 or 3 weeks, in Mackay and Darling Downs, wherever we were, she'd come visit. And your dad, that I knew as Jim, Granddad Jim, he would come every year and we'd do all sorts of things together. Wonderful, wonderful memories. There's something else I want to say about you and your mom too. Now, you talk for a while, I'll say a few more.
I can't say much. But Reeva always seemed to be a long way from way. We come from Walpy up in the valley. Hottest place there is down there. But we seemed to get up there. I remember one time I went up there and I took a mate of mine, Davy Fraser. And he had to take tickets at the door of a Masonic Lodge Hall, I think. Yeah. Because we made that many stops on the way to the hall, we got there when it was nearly over. None of us could stand up. We just lurched through the door, and I don't know what Reeva thought when we got home. I don't even remember getting home. I don't know where Dave, your mate, slept, but I think he left next day. And I remember another time when I went up there with the races, and there was a bookie lived just up the road from them, and it was the third year that Winfro won the Goondiwindi Cup. And I was up there and I backed it. Of course, Arthur Brummel loved his peanuts, somebody else loved overproof rum. So, on the way home, got the peanuts and he opened it up. We got home to Reeva's and Mama said, well, we've got to have a drink. So that's good. Well, about that much in a glass of me. And I said, well, how do you drink it? I haven't tasted rum before. He said, oh, straight down. I drank that much milk after. I don't remember any more of it. But we're always welcome. And the times I remember was when Ronnie had his own little business then. He had his own chooks. He used to sell eggs. Don't know what he did with the money, but we know, looking back now, we know where it went. But for Reeva, she was always there, as Ronnie said, there was always a meal there for us. There was always a bed somewhere for us. No matter how many of us arrived. But another time I went up with my sister's husband and her. He didn't like flying, so we got him a couple of whiskies on the plane. Picked up a Reeva, got Ted, we stopped at the bottle shop, 3 more bottles of whiskey. Get home to Reeva's. Oh yes. Reeva and Dick, I think, went to bed. And Barry decided to go to bed and Ted and I was still drinking. It was lovely. Reeva couldn't hear by then, so she was sneaking out everybody to the toilet. I said, she's going to the toilet, right? Trying to listen to what we were saying. I'm under the table and she doesn't know. So, after all, I finally got to bed, but at 7 o'clock, every pot and pan in the kitchen either drop or bang together. And I wasn't allowed to bring whiskey back.